Have you ever stopped to think how much the image of the ideal man has changed in recent years? Today, he's strong, fit, successful, well-dressed, stoic, commanding. But on the inside, many of these men are broken, empty, lost, exhausted. We live in the age of performance. Being a man has become a role to play. You're not allowed to show weakness. If you do, you're labeled as soft. But hiding pain doesn't make you strong. It just disconnects you from yourself. According to the World Health Organization, men account for 75% of all suicides worldwide. That's no coincidence. We were taught to swallow it all in silence, to numb our emotions, to pretend everything's fine. The truth is, a lot of us look like warriors, but live with souls made of glass, fragile on the inside, while keeping up appearances on the outside. And when everything falls apart, when the relationship ends, the job disappears, the pressure mounts, there's nothing left to hold on to. Because there was never any inner foundation, only a mask. The question is simple but brutal. Would you still feel strong if no one was watching? This video isn't a critique, it's a wake-up call. Because real masculine strength doesn't live in your chest or your car. It starts with something most men today have forgotten: honor. Long before social media, there were men who didn't need to prove anything to anyone. They wore armor, not for status, but for purpose. They were called samurai, and their lives were guided by something rare today: a code, Bushidō, the way of the warrior, a set of principles that went far beyond the sword. Honor, loyalty, courage, justice, compassion, respect, sincerity. Samurai were trained to fight, yes, but also to meditate, to reflect, to serve. Their greatest battles began inside themselves. They knew who they were. They didn't need to appear strong. They were strong because they had a center, a direction, a mission. And when you live with mission, you don't get distracted by nonsense. You don't lose yourself trying to be what others expect. Today, many men walk around with no code, no purpose, no roots. That's why they're so easily influenced, reactive, fragile under pressure. The truth is simple. If you don't define who you are, the world will do it for you. We grew up hearing that being a man means tough it out, never show weakness and prove your worth. But prove it to who? And based on what? Today, masculinity has become a performance. It's the sculpted body, the expensive watch, the posture. But when the mask drops, what's left? You can be big on the outside and small on the inside. Muscle doesn't carry emotional weight. Money doesn't buy peace. Status doesn't equal self-worth. According to the American Psychological Association, men who base their identity solely on looks or material success show higher levels of anxiety and depression. Why? Because they're always chasing an unreachable ideal. They're exhausted trying to be something they're not, and any crack in the image feels like collapse. The result? Insecurity disguised as arrogance, loneliness masked as independence, anger mistaken for strength. But here's a deeper question. What's harder, lifting 200 pounds or carrying the weight of not knowing who you really are? Maybe the biggest test of masculinity today isn't what you show in the mirror. It's what you hide from the world. While today's world teaches men to compete, consume, and conquer, the samurai followed a different path. Bushidō, the way of the warrior. This code was built on 7 core virtues, each one a daily reminder of how a man should carry himself, even when no one is watching. G, righteousness, doing what's right, even when it's hard. U, courage, not the courage to fight others, but to face your own fears. Jin, compassion, using strength to protect, not harm. Rei, respect, treating others with dignity, even your enemies. Makoto, sincerity, say less but mean every word. Meiyo, honor, earned slowly, lost in a second. Chugi, loyalty, to something greater than yourself. Now ask yourself, how many of these values are still taught today? Most men don't know what they stand for because they've never taken the time to build a personal code. They're stuck in autopilot, always reacting, just trying to survive. But the samurai didn't live to survive. He lived with purpose, and that purpose came from within. Maybe what's missing today isn't more strength, it's more direction. Honor doesn't make noise. It doesn't show up in photos or go viral. But when it's missing, everyone feels it. A man without honor might look successful on the surface, but deep down, he's carrying a shadow because he knows his life was built on lies, shortcuts, or betrayal, and it doesn't take much. Just one moment of weakness, one decision made out of ego, one act that goes against what you know is right. Society might still applaud you, but your conscience won't. Think about public figures who had everything, fame, power, money, and lost it all overnight. Not because they lacked skill, but because they lacked character. Honor isn't about being flawless. It's about having the courage to admit when you're wrong, to make it right, and to stand tall afterward. It's about keeping your word, even when no one's watching, even when it's inconvenient, even when it costs you. In samurai culture, losing your honor meant losing the right to keep living. Today, many live without honor and don't even realize it. Or worse, they think it doesn't matter, but it does, because honor is the foundation of trust, in business, in relationships, and most importantly, with yourself. The samurai wasn't a machine. He felt fear, doubt, anger. He failed, but what made him different was how he responded to it. He didn't hide his mistakes. He faced them, he learned, he grew, and when necessary, he apologized, because he knew failing doesn't strip you of honor. Pretending you didn't fail does. Today, many confuse masculinity with perfection. They think being a man means never showing weakness. But that only builds walls, pride, and distance. True strength lies in integrity, in doing what's right, even when it's hard, in staying whole even when life breaks you. It's not about being invincible, it's about being real. You don't need to carry a katana to live like a warrior. Today's battlefield is different. It's mental, emotional, spiritual. It's in controlling your anger, staying loyal when no one's looking, being consistent in a world that rewards shortcuts. The modern warrior doesn't need to shed blood, but he does need discipline, and that's rare. Want a real challenge? Wake up early, even when you don't feel like it. Train your mind before your body. Talk less. Listen more. Say no to what destroys you, even if it feels good. Build your own Bushidō. It doesn't have to be like the ancient one, but it has to be clear, because a man without a code becomes anything. The samurai didn't exist to show power. He existed to protect, to serve, to build. And that kind of man is still needed. Now more than ever, the question is, are you willing to walk that path? At the end of the day, there's only one question that truly matters. Are you proud of the man you see in the mirror? Not the man others think you are, not the man you post online, but the one you carry inside, because appearance fades. Physical strength weakens, but your honor, that stays with you until your last breath. If you want to be remembered as a real man, don't worry about what you wear. Worry about what you stand for, because masculinity doesn't live in your muscles. It lives in your word.